I've got a good one for you. Sit down and grab a cuppa. We gotta go through patents. So what exactly is a patent? A patent is a government-issued document that basically says that they will back you up, the inventor, for whatever it is that you invented. It could be basic inventions, techniques, processes, products, scientific creations, etc., etc., etc. But basically, it protects the person who invented whatever it was they filed for. There's lots of different patents for different kinds of things that are available on the market. The thing is, much like copyright, people seem to think they can just ignore that. Surprise! Lawyers exist. That's just the layman's take. So in this video, I'm going to be discussing what's going on in the machine embroidery world where 3D puff embroidery is concerned. I'm gonna slap this disclaimer down real fast though. I am not a lawyer. I did not have the money or the patience to go to school for that long or to memorize that many books. What I will say though is I refuse to make this video until I consulted with a lawyer that specializes in IP law. All this to really say is please don't use YouTube for legal advice. So here's the crux of what's going on. Oh, and it's a juicy one. Doing the embossing technique with 3D puff embroidery, I feel like has been around for a really long time, but it really hasn't been. And it's only started trending like in the past, I don't know, 4 to 6 months or so. As in, I didn't even think about doing this technique until I started seeing videos and things come up. Of course, I'm not scientifically stating it did not exist before. I'm just saying it never crossed my feed. So all these videos and products and things are going up to basically create this embossed effect on top of t-shirts and sweatshirts and other garments. And the whole thing is done using that 3D puff material. You know, that puffy material that you can use when doing machine embroidery to kind of raise your stitches up a bit. In fact, I just did a video on it, but not this specific kind of machine embroidery technique. So basically what started happening about a month ago is people in the content creation field started to receive letters, cease and desist letters. Lo and behold, a patent actually exists for 3-dimensional applique effect, specifically with machine embroidery. Now, as far as I know, not a single lawyer has sent the letter out. It's just been the inventor themselves sending these letters kind of saying, hey, by the way, you're infringing on my patent. You might want to take it down. And it being videos or fonts or embroidery files, etc., etc. Essentially anything that would profit from their patented technique. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just cut to the chase here. The patent is valid. It went through all of the appropriate checks. They even had to send it back once because it was too vague in its initial filing. So what is actually filed now is legitimate. Now, the thing that is actually a little weird about it that makes this all kind of stand out and is causing an uproar in the machine embroidery community is the fact that this person is only sending these letters out to small creators. You have big name brands out there on YouTube and TikTok and Reels on Instagram showing you how to do this technique, but they aren't being targeted. In fact, the letters that are going out are asking people to pay a licensing fee to the patent owner in order to continue to use their content online. I don't know about y'all, but that's fishier than a women's locker room. Now, one person in particular did go ahead and post a video and read the letter out loud, gave all the patent information, and the comment section just kind of went wild. I'll leave a link to the video in the description of this video, of course, so that we can share the love. And what I'm about to say has no bearing on that content creator. It's more or less having to do with all of the freaking armchair lawyers that are sitting in their comments. No, trapunto from the quilting world is not the same thing. The patent specifically calls out applique effect. When you do trapunto in quilting, you don't remove the fluff underneath, do you? No, we don't. We leave the batting in place. Therefore, it is not the same thing. Mind you that patents are extremely specific. They have a number of claims that are listed on them and filed as part of the patent. In order to infringe on someone's patent, you have to quite literally check off every single checkbox on the claims in the patent. You skip a step, not in violation. And no, to the person who said that you could do this with felt, Using a different material does not free you from the claim. The patent gives examples of materials, but it doesn't actually call out like a specific, this is the only thing you can use. The verbiage is pretty tight. Other commenters are saying that it's totally okay to teach the method that is in the patent. Talk to a lawyer? The reason it's different on platforms like YouTube is because we can be monetized, which means we get ad revenue. Once you're partnered, you basically turn on advertising and you can get paid for all the ads that you get shown. Sorry about that. I give most of it to charity though. So while you think you might be teaching something for free, you are actually profiting off of someone else's patented technique. And if you're selling embroidery files and designs that take this technique into consideration, you're basically selling the instructions for how to do it. Or at least I would hope that you would sell a design that has some instructions, especially if it's multi-step and not just put hoop in machine. Man, I can't wait for those armchair lawyers to visit my comment section. To which I would warn you all that it's called Seamrippin, not Seam pat you on the back, everybody gets a trophy. But why would they email only the small creators? Weird, huh? And then on top of that, having the audacity to ask people for money for licensing of the technique? I mean, we're talking like small creators here, like not like 100,000 subs or anything like that. But I think they're only targeting the smaller creators because they can abuse them. Let's think of it critically. Patents can be challenged in court. Unfortunately, it costs a lot in legal fees to get a patent invalidated, which a larger brand might actually want to take on. But is it worth it? Probably not. I'm just going to be completely blunt here. Using foam to get this embossed look on garments isn't the right way. In fact, it's the unprofessional way of doing it. The real technique actually involves using silicone and two-part molds to accomplish the embossed effect. This is something that your average DIY person isn't going to be able to do. So of course the foam looked to be more enticing and a way to accomplish the look without all of the added cost of milling your own molds, using silicone, learning chemical balance, and getting a heat press specifically for the molds, etc., etc., etc. And the reason behind this harsh reality is because usually when you use this kind of puffy foam, you're supposed to tack it down, but it's not getting tacked down in this case. You want to keep the loft around it and then you stitch around it, not through it. So what do you think is going to happen when you put this thing through the laundry? And that foam is just sitting inside the shirt, free balling around between two pieces of fabric. It won't be pretty, and your customers won't like it either. I'm really gonna get crapped on for this one. There are actually a couple of ways that you can achieve a puffy look anyway. It's not going to be the exact same thing as an embossed look, but you could still do this at home. One way is you can use brick by Sizer. Brick is basically a thicker version of HTV. Cool thing is you can actually cut it with a laser because it's PU, not PVC. Sizer makes it, and it's cool stuff. So if you wanted to do that, you can actually just like basically pile that stuff on top of each other. But the problem is, that's going to get expensive. But the other thing is, although I'm teaching you this right now just with my pretty words, notice how I'm not including the claim that talks about applique? Point said match, thank you. Psst. You can also do screen printing. There's special additives that you can put into screen printing paints to make them puffy. If you're familiar with spirit jerseys from Disney, all that nice puffy text on the back, that's with the puffy screen printing paint. There is, of course, also a puffy version of HTV that when heated, it just starts to blow up a bit. That sounds pretty cool looking though. Only thing is I don't know how long it lasts. Ultimately, it's best to be respectful of patents. Even though this person basically made contact on their own with no legal representation and then threw a licensing fee into it, they did reach out before calling in their lawyer. And unless you have millions of dollars in the bank to fight the patent, I would actually suggest that you just listen and take your material down. It's not worth it. I would do it like the second that I got an email like that, I'd be like, oh crap, and immediately like unalive the video. Because I don't know if anybody knows this or not, but this is just not my full-time job or my life. I'm just lonely and make videos for fun. And you might be wondering, But kittens, where is the patent? I'm not sticking any of that info in my description. Y'all crazy? I don't want them coming after me thinking that I'm like disparaging them or something. That's why I'm not naming names. I got kids to feed. And just to wrap this up and come full circle, again, I'm not a freaking lawyer. I'm just spouting off the information that I got from a lawyer friend and general observations that I've made with a little bit of surface level research into the person who made the patent. But what would a rant be worth without some kind of positive outcome? Well, I pledge that I will now do some kind of tutorial video on the puffy screen printing process, and I'm going to order some of the sizer brick so that I can give that a shot too. And just for education's sake, I'll leave a link to one of the videos that shows you how they do it in a more industrial way with the silicone injection. Because honestly, that's kind of cool looking, and I wish that I could do it, but there's no way. Anyway, cheers, have a great rest of your day, and don't piss off any lawyers.